Welcome back to the Good Old Boy Podcast. I am dropping this one a little late in the week. However, I'm still getting in with a week. My goal to drop one episode every week is still going to come on. We're doing this one on a Friday, so hopefully going into the weekend it gives you a little something to think about, something to ruminate on, something to consider. Guys, if y'all are tuning in for the first time, I really appreciate you downloading, checking us out. Maybe you heard a referral from a friend, from a guest, from someone else. If you're a returning listener, I'm glad to have you back. Thank you. So, as always, I'll start this off. Guys, if you are looking to do something with your life, if maybe you're stuck in a rut, you're drifting, you just don't know where to start at, where to go, what to do, how to begin, and maybe you don't even have someone to talk to, you don't have somebody you can lean on, maybe holler at me. Jump below in the show notes, click on the form, and join us, and just let's get on a 15-minute call real quick. Me and you. We'll talk. We'll see what's happening. See if maybe there's a way to go forward. Maybe there's something we can do to kickstart it, get a little momentum, set off a fire bang. Who knows? But go to the show notes, click the link, fill out the form, and we'll be in touch. So, with that, guys, I am... First of all, I have to give a lot of thanks to the gentlemen over at the OTG podcast, to Philip, to Daryl, to Sean. I was on their show last week, and the episode dropped Friday when I was heading out of town with my wife and some friends for a little end of summer vacay trip. And right before I left, I got sent a couple of shorts by Sean, who does their editing and everything. And man, I was blown away with the guys. When I got done, I was so appreciative of it, but I was also like, man, I should have said this. I should have mentioned this. I could have given more credit to certain people. I could have talked to, there were so many responses that, man, back and forth, I could have said things. But my time spending with these guys were great. They really had great questions. You can tell they really care about fitness, how people can get better, what they're doing, the mindset behind it, the understanding, the quirks, everything that goes with it. It's not just, so you want to get in shape, okay, here's this program. These guys were really, really, really great to talk to. Highly recommend going check out the episode and some of their other episodes. I've enjoyed listening to their show and some of the items that they have put forward, not necessarily nutrition, but mindset, the way that you approach things, some of the things. I mean, even drifting in calorie counting, which I've done before, and I'm like, man, I get that. These guys are putting out some good stuff. So shout out to the OTG podcast. The guys, they're great. Again, thank y'all for having me on the show. Thank you for creating such wonderful content on it. I was blown away when I got it, and some of the shorts. And if you go to our Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, you can see it. I'm like, wow, I aspire to be like these guys with their content production. They're great. So, on to the next thing. Certain things that are going on. What am I reading? What am I listening to? What am I consuming in my life? I'm still reading X by John Bevere. That's a really good book so far. I like the way it's progressing. Highly kind of recommend checking that one out if you got a chance. What am I listening to? I think I'm listening to the thing that everybody else is listening to, and that's Oliver Anthony, his music. If you've seen it recently, big ginger bearded man from the Virginia area, and guys, I love it. I love his music, man. He puts just such some soulful things out. The lyrics are great. In fact, I play guitar. And when I went, I was like, man, I got to learn this song. And I went and I saw it was 4 chords and very simple ones. I was like, even better. I mean, if you can do it with 4 chords, you can do it. If you can do it with 3, it's amazing. There's a few that there's two chords, and it's just powerful music. I feel like he's got a good message in there. Some of his other songs that he puts out are really good too. So good luck to that guy. Maybe we'll ask if he wants to come on the show and talk. Maybe we'll get him. Other things going on, getting through the Joe Rogan Post Malone podcast episode. That's a pretty funny one. I was listening to that, and I told my wife it was funny because you hear sometimes, and he's like, yes, sir, and no, sir, and he's very polite. And I was like, that's something you see nowadays, just gentlemen being polite and saying these things. Also, I'm a big Post Malone music fan. I love it. I'll play it in the house whenever we got a little rap vibe going on around here. So we've been on vacation. We got back. I happened to catch a little bit of, I don't know if it was Montezuma's Revenge. I don't know if it was anything or what, but I got knocked out for a day, but I was back on it pretty quickly. And back to work, back to all the fun stuff. And as I said, I should have recorded something before. I should have done it right when I got back, but here we are. So all in all, something that I was toying with on the trip and what I wanted to talk about on this episode, it just so happened to, during the week when my wife was prepping and cooking, she did something that reminded me a lot of what my mom would do growing up. And whenever I'd wake up in the morning and go to school and my grandmother was there too, and she did this, whenever they were getting ready for the day, they'd be cooking because they were Italian women and they started cooking that morning for that night or whatever was going on. Something was going to happen. And no matter what, it seems like the first thing that they did when they started the day was they put on a big pot of rice. And it's the weirdest thing. No matter what, if something was going on, I'd be like, what are you making? Rice. What are we having? Don't know yet. It's going to have rice? Probably so. And it was something that always happened. And it stuck with me. And now even in our neighborhood, it's a joke whenever someone talks about nutries in the lake or a wild critter loose or something like that. I'll always say, like, what do you do with that? Well, first thing you do is you make the rice. Because sometimes rice can take a while in some kind. Sometimes, you don't get the rice just quite right. Sometimes it turns out a little crunchy. Sometimes it turns out a little mushy. Cooking rice is one of those things like, man, if you got a kid going off to college, make sure they know how to cook rice before they go. And for us, I know you could do Uncle Ben's. You can do the 90-minute boil a bag, but I like to make what's called poor people rice. It's just the rice out of the bag on there. It's just so good. It's so nice. It's so easy. You can get a lot of it for cheap. And it's just something. So my wife made this pot of rice, and I was looking at it, I'm like, man, I can do so much with this. I mean, she made chili, so I can put chili on top of it. I can make some beef stew with that. I can put some cilantros and lime with it like I like to do and make a burrito or a burrito bowl. I can put some turmeric in this. I can make there's just a lot you can do with rice. If it gets day old, you can do a lot of hibachi with it. And I got to thinking, like, man, as long as you got some rice around, you're good. You can make it, if you're following Dave Ramsey, he says, you eat rice and beans, and that's what you do, and you go about it. And so I started thinking, I'm like, man, if you just got rice laying around, you got rice prepared. Shout out to all my men and Marbella moms and those new Coastal Point guys, because, they'll see the rice thing, and they'll get a laugh out of it, hopefully. And I was thinking of, are you making your rice in the morning? Are you making your rice first thing? What's that thing that that's going to pay dividends? And this kind of ties into when I was on the OTG podcast. We talked about fitness, how it's a priority in life. One of the things that, I was like, man, I should have mentioned how if you're ever having a bad day or you're stressed or something, go work out because it gets it all out. It clarifies you. It does that. But it's like, are you doing the thing that's setting you up or prepping you for or can help adjust you throughout the day? And I don't know what that is. But I know maybe it's if you're making the coffee pot the night before. Because in the morning you're going to be running like crazy and all you'll have time to do is push a button. Or if you're like my wife, whenever she gets going and she's prepped and set, she does this or she makes all the lunches the night before school and it's set. So in the morning there's not that rush and that bustle and that hurry. Are you choosing what you're wearing the night before? Do you have your to-do list planned? Do you have what it takes to be successful set up for you and ready to go? so that even if something comes at you crazy, you're ready to go. Oh, you're supposed to have maybe some beef stew. Didn't have the beef, didn't thaw out in time. Man, I got this rice, but I can throw some other things in there. I'm going to tell you this too. I don't know if you ever had eggs and rice, but eggs and rice is a good quick thing. You got some eggs and you got rice. That's a good bowl right there. A little Tony Chachere's or some Old Bay on there. Throw it in. It's a coon-ass dish as all get out, but it hits. It slaps. Are you doing something, or do you need to do something that will prepare you, that will set you up, that will just be ready to go? If you're in sales and you're making a call, do you know what you're calling this guy about? Do you know what you want to talk about? Do you know what you're going to say? Do you know what the questions are? Do you know what your answers are that you're looking for? Make that rice first. Have your rice ready. Get it set. And yeah, I know this is still kind of folksy and it's still kind of crazy, but I do believe in it. Because whenever we had rice ready and I knew it was being cooked, I knew when I came home from school, we were always going to have something to eat. I didn't worry about it. It was there. It was set. It was good. There wasn't any question about it. Now, this is just a pretty quick little folksy thing. It probably won't be, this episode won't be too long. So I implore you to think about, can you make your rice first thing? Before you get going in the day, before you get started. I mean, maybe your rice is, before you leave, you tell your spouse, like, you know what, I love you, you look good, can't wait to come home to you. Maybe you have some good rice later. Maybe there's something that you need to have that rice ready for the whole week. Maybe you got to make a big old mess of rice because you know the week's coming up and it's going to be hard and you're going to be running and your kids are going to be in different activities and you're going to have school and you're going to be home late and you and your spouse are going to be passing like ships in the night because one's taking off this way, the other one's going that way, and you don't know anything. But, man, you'll always have it ready. If you plan ahead to know, like, this is what I need to do to be successful this week, to need this. I need to have my rice. Get your rice going. I've said rice a lot, I know, but it is what it is. I like it. I like folksy metaphors to be relatable. I'm folksy. That's what it is. And I just hope that, if you're trying to figure out, man, I don't even know what it could be. Hop on a call with me, comment below, maybe reach out and let's talk about it. Because I do think that there's something that everybody can do that would be beneficial to say, hey, this is something good. This is what we should be doing. Like I said, this is going to be a short episode. Just a little something for Friday to kick you over. I've enjoyed doing this again. It's got my mojo going, my brain thinking. Got a couple of topics coming up. I think y'all are going to enjoy it. So, guys, I'm going to sign off by saying, don't forget, make your rice. Little pot, big pot, Uncle Ben's, poor people, whatever you want to do, your kind of rice you want to go. Flavor it up. Get it ready. But remember, before you get going, make the rice first. As always, praying for you, and I love you.